The Last of Us Part 2 is one of the best games I've ever played. Not because it's flashy or over the top, or necessarily because it's just fun, but because it meant something. It hit. It took risks. It made me sit with stuff I didn't want to feel. But I'm gonna be honest, when I first played it, I couldn't finish it. I got to the end of Ellie's section, and then it switched to Abby, and I just turned it off. I was like, no fucking way I'm gonna play as the same bitch who killed Joel. But one of my closest friends finished it and told me you're missing out. So I went back and I replayed it. And thank fuck I did. Because once I let the story do its thing, I saw what it was really about. It wasn't there to please everyone. It wasn't there to tell the truth. It was about grief, about hate, about what revenge turns you into. This video is solely for a bit of a comparison between the game and the TV series. So let's talk about it. For anything, I want to give props where it's due. I actually liked season 1 of the show. Bella Ramsey nailed the young Ellie. She was able to get her sarcasm, her weirdness, and her I don't give a fuck energy, and it just worked. She played off Pedro Pascal perfectly.
It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary. No pun intended. Volume 2 by Will Livingston.
He carried the emotional weight while she brought the fire and like the good vibes. And the balance all worked out. Except for that one episode, the David episode, which felt a little bit weak. But despite all of this, either way, the best episode in season 1 had nothing to do with either of them. It was about Bill and Frank. That was the one time the show slowed down and actually delivered something with soul. So since we're done talking about season 1 now, let's talk about part 2 and season 2. This game never pulls back. Joel's death isn't some twist. It's a breakdown. It's ugly. It's quiet. It lingers. And the pain from that moment stays with you for the entirety of the game. It's in the way Ellie walks. It's in how she speaks. It's in her silences. It's in the way she plays her guitar. It's not something you get past. It becomes part of you. And the game makes sure you never forget it.
Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up. Please stop. Please don't shoot. Joel, please get up. No!
The show actually did the scene pretty well. Joel's death in the series looked right. It was paced correctly. I even liked the part where Ellie crawls to him. That definitely hit. Like there was a clear callback to the first game. Like they knew what they were doing there. The only thing that didn't fully land to me was Bella's performance in that moment. It wasn't bad. It just doesn't hit the same way it did in the game. But overall, the scene itself, no genuine complaints. But after that, for me, this is where the show gets pretty shaky. The emotional weight starts to fade way too quick. And the person who ends up carrying all of this is Dina, not Ellie. Dina's the one keeping things grounded, telling Ellie to focus, telling her to lock in, to find the people who fucking killed Joel. It's weird. Ellie feels distant, feels flat. It just didn't all hit. But again, to be fair, Dina is probably the best thing the show has done so far. In the game, her backstory is there, but you mostly get it through journal entries, optional shit, and not everyone plays like that. In the show, they brought it to front. They gave her history. They gave her a bond with Joel, which I appreciated, and it made her connection with Ellie feel even more real, like something actually worth protecting. And then you get to the Seattle part in the show. And man, it just feels like a day trip. It feels like they're going out on a date. Like, it's insane. They're looting buildings together, and it just feels like it's a good vibe between them. In the game, yeah, it had some lighthearted moments, but you could feel that Dina was trying to distract Ellie, trying to hold her together. In the show, it's weird. Like, it's like the same thing with the "I'm gonna be a dad" line. Like, bro, what the fuck even is that? Joel's dead, the world's crumbling, and we're just throwing out sitcom lines. Like, come on, deadass. If you put laugh tracks over the scenes in the series, it'll feel like a comedy. I'm not exaggerating. Watch these two clips.
Can I help? No. Why? Because I'm stupid? That's not the word I would use. So we're all having a baby. Holy shit. I'm gonna be a dad.
But again, to be fair, the show did have its moments. Despite that whole comedy shit show we just watched, the federal truck scene in Seattle day one was super cool. In the game, it's very subtle. Like, a lot of players could even like miss it. So this is what it is. You come across a truck, you see a few dead bodies, you find a note from an informant who set up the whole ambush, and that's it. But in the show, they give you a whole rundown of basically the start of the WLF. And they even have fucking Josh Peck as one of the federal soldiers. Isaac locking them in, chucking a grenade inside that truck. It was really cool, and it worked. That's what the show should be doing. Like, taking more from those like letters you find around the map and kind of building a story behind that. Something the game didn't do, and it would allow the series to do so. Something else I really enjoyed in the show is their take on the infection itself. The cordyceps fungus in this version doesn't just infect the brain, it spreads through a large networks of tendrils underground. These tendrils connect the infected bodies across large distances. So if you step on a patch of fungus somewhere or interact with a corpse that's connected to the network, it sends a signal, like pulling on a thread, and alerts infected from far away. I'm not talking about meters, I'm also talking about kilometers. So suddenly, a quiet area isn't actually safe anymore. You can be completely alone and trigger one tendril under your foot, and bosh, 20 infected swarm you from across the city. That's what they mean by hive mind. They aren't individuals anymore, they act like one massive organism with awareness shared between them through this fungal network. This changes the infected from being isolated threats, like in the game, to being part of a single system that responds together. It's not random anymore, it's not just a line of sight or sound. It's biological surveillance. And that's terrifying. Let's talk about episode 6, Flashbacks. The show actually felt like the game for the first time. The whole episode pulls from one of the most emotional missions in Last of Us, the museum flashback. In the game, it's Ellie's 16th birthday. Joel surprises her with a trip to Wyoming Museum of Science and History, dinosaurs, space exhibits, the part in the capsule where she puts the helmet on and hears the launch countdown. That's not just a nice moment, that is pain. That is the last time as a player and as Ellie ever felt close to him. That's the last pure memory before everything goes to shit. It is also one of the last time we see Ellie and Joel interact like they did in the first game. And this all goes to Neil Druckmann. He directed this episode, and it only makes sense that the best episode was directed by the maker of the game. And it shows. He didn't fake emotions, he let it sit. He actually knew what made the moment work in the game, and he carried it over in a little twist, just to change it a little bit. That's the only reason the show really felt like Last of Us again. But then, the episode goes way deeper than this. We get to see Ellie be a teenager. Bella Ramsey nails that part. The tattoo origin. Her ex-girlfriend Kat, smoking weed, hooking up, all this dumb, messy teenage shit. And it works. It's human. It's grounded. It is not just plot, it's personality. Then we get Eugene's story. And this is where the show goes into new territory. And not in a bad way at all. In the game, Eugene's barely mentioned. I think they mention him as like growing, like he's a person who grew weed and shit, and like the bong and all these like little cool things we heard about him, but very small bits and pieces. But in the show, we found out he was bitten. He asked Joel to let him say goodbye to his wife. Joel even promised him and Ellie that he'd be led back to camp and he could say goodbye to his wife one last time. But Joel did not fulfill his promise. He shot him in the back of the head on some, like, of mice and men bullshit. Then he not just did that, he lied about it. He told his wife something completely different. And I think that's the moment. That's the crack. That's when Ellie starts seeing through the lie. That's when she knows Joel is hiding things. It's not about Eugene, it's about what it represents. The pattern, the silence. And that's why that porch scene at the end of the episode hit so hard. Because Ellie had her suspicions. Even from the beginning of the episode, we saw her practice like a script per se to ask him about what happened at that infamous night in the hospital. But I feel that Eugene's scene was the reason why she finally believed her gut instincts and that Joel was hiding something. Now the porch scene. I want to say this was probably the best piece of acting we've seen in the whole show. Pedro Pascal doesn't even need to speak. He tries to say something, but all of his responses just ends up in nods or no's. That's it. That's all he gives, and that is more than enough, because the silence says everything, from the guilt, the grief, the love, the lie. It's all there. That's acting. That is restraint. That scene felt as heavy as it was in the game, but in its own way. It didn't need lines, it just needed honesty. And again, because I need to give him another shout out, none of this would have happened without Neil Druckmann. He gets these characters. He made them. He knew what that moment was. And that is why episode 6 is the best episode of the entire series. Because for once, they let it feel like the game again, but with their own little twist.
Did you... And Marlene?
Making a cure would have killed you.
Then I was...
Would have killed you. So I stopped them.
Oh my God. Don't you fucking touch me!
And now, let's talk about the Nora scene and what it actually means in the bigger picture and how the series completely fumbled this death. Because this isn't just another death in Ellie's path. This is the first time she chooses to make someone suffer. It is not for survival. It's not in the heat of the moment. It is vengeance. And this is the moment where The Last of Us Part 2 stops being a story about loss and becomes a story about revenge and losing yourself in the process of it. You can see the build-up. In the first game, Ellie kills David to survive. He was going to do something horrific to her. She had no choice. She kills the guy with the scar, the one who kicked her face in, out of rage. But it was fast, it was raw, and she did not drag it out. But with Nora, this is the first time Ellie crosses the line, slowly, deliberately. You chase her through the hospital, one of the most intense sequences in the whole game. Then you trap her in a spore-filled basement. She's coughing, dying, yet she's still defiant. And then the game does something brutal. It makes you do it. You press square over and over and over and over again. You might not want to, you might hesitate, but you have to. You can't move forward unless you do. You're forced to feel this, to feel like Ellie. And it fades to black, you see it. She's not okay. She's lost something. Not just innocence, but herself. This isn't justice anymore. This is something completely different. Something darker. And that's the point of the game. One of the main themes of Last of Us Part 2 is what revenge does to you. It's not subtle. It's literally written in the first song Joel sings to Ellie. If I were ever to lose you, I would surely lose myself. That isn't foreshadowing. This is the whole game. Joel loses himself. Ellie loses herself. Abby too. The game isn't asking if revenge is justified. It's showing you that even if it is, it still costs everything. You don't finish the game feeling like a hero. You finish it asking, was this all worth it? And the Nora scene, that's when you stop playing as Ellie and start feeling like her. That is when the game makes you ask, is she still the person I thought she was?
She's hiding out in this aquarium. Okay. I made her talk. It's okay.
Now compared to the series, they included a Nora scene. They gave us a quick chase, Ellie crawls under some debris, and then boom, Nora's cornered. That's it. It's over. Like, it happens so fast you barely register the weight of what's about to go down. There's no intense chase scene or anything. Like, it kind of all just happens really quickly. Like, it generally felt like it was a cut. Like, 1 second she was chasing her, and then cut, boom, she's with Nora. Like, it's insane. And I get it. It's a show. There's runtime. There's a structure they have to follow. They've got timelines, episode limits, all that. I'm not expecting it to be one for one with the game. But even with those limitations, it felt so rushed. Like they just wanted to check the box and move on. Because in the game, that scene is long. It's intense. You chase Nora through the entire hospital. You hear her panicking. You see the scale of what you're doing. And when you finally trap her, you don't just kill her. You beat the info out of her. Like I said, you press square over and over and over again. Then you sit in that guilt. You watch it change her. But in the show, none of that is there. There's no time to feel it. No moment to stop. Ellie says, I made her talk. And then the episode moves on like it never happened. We don't get to see like her first panic attack after the situation. We don't see the moment of like, what have I done? We just get the action without the aftermath. And that's the problem. Even if they couldn't recreate this whole scene, they could have made us feel what it meant. They could have made us sit in that moment with her. But instead, they skipped the hardest part. The part that actually mattered. The part where revenge starts to cost everything. In the game, this is the moment where Ellie loses herself. In the show, it just looks like she's on a mission. No change, no fallout, just another name on the list. And I get it, trust me, it is so much easier to do it in a game. You're holding the controller. You're the one pressing square. You're not just watching Ellie, you are Ellie. That changes everything. The game is long as fuck. It takes its time. It makes space for moments to stretch, to breathe, to hurt. And that's why the Nora scene hits so hard. You feel every second of it. And that's the difference. The game doesn't show you what revenge does. It makes you do it. In the show, it just tells you what happened, then it moves on. That's why it didn't land the same at all. Now episode 7. This should have been a masterpiece. It had everything lined up. all the tension, all the loss, all the grief ready to explode, and somehow it still felt like it was holding back. In the game, the final moments with Ellie before we switch over to Abby are a tipping point. She's just a shell of who she was at the start of Seattle. Killing Nora, like I already talked about, was the moment that showed how revenge had fully engulfed her. And that scene worked in a game because they didn't skip past it. They made you sit in it. They made you press square. They made you feel the shift. But in the show, the whole progression just feels so rushed. It missed the point of what revenge actually does to people, how it changes them. How by the time you reach the end of the road, you don't recognize yourself anymore. That's what the game showed. That's what we saw in Abby 2. And we will see how the show handles it in season 3, but I don't have high expectations. In the game, even after she gets her revenge, Abby's not magically okay. She's still broken, she's still having the same nightmare. It never leaves her. With Ellie, in the series, we never get to sit with it. It was beat to beat, just action. The emotions were obviously implied, but they never let the moment breathe. That's why episode 7 stood out. It finally tried to slightly slow down. It actually gave us space to feel something. I'll always prefer the game over the show. That's not changing, but credit where it's due. Episode 7 slightly got closer, but again, it just kept feeling short. One thing I'll give the show full credit for is Jesse. They gave him life. In the game, he was more like a background character with a couple good lines and no real arc. But in the show, he felt like a real person. And honestly, I prefer the series version over Jesse, over the actual game. I prefer how he found out about being a dad because it's real. That's something I've seen in people. The moment a guy finds out he's going to be a father, something just clicks. You stop fucking around, you stop taking risks, you start thinking about staying alive for your kid. And you see that switch in Jesse instantly. Also in the game and series, we finally get to see Ellie's true intentions. All that talk about we're saving Tommy, that was just an excuse. Because the second she was given the actual choice to help Jesse find Tommy or chase down Abby, she doesn't even hesitate. She chooses revenge. Straight up, no second thoughts. In the series, Ellie's monologue here was good. I'll give it that. You finally hear her crack a little. That desperation, that obsession. But I'll be real. I always find it hard to feel intimidated by Bella Ramsey. And I don't think it's even about her acting is bad. I think it's because she played young Ellie so well. The goofy energy, the puns, the awkwardness, the I don't care vibe we got in season 1, it's worked. But now, every time she tries to go dark, it's like I can't fully buy it. It doesn't land. And I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. And I just want to clarify something. If you didn't like Bella's casting because she wasn't quote unquote pretty enough, or whatever the hell people were saying in the comments, you're just trash. That's not critique. That's just being a shit human. Because the issue with Bella isn't looks, it's performance. She killed it in season 1. But in season 2, especially in those heavy scenes, it always falls flat. It doesn't hit like the game. It doesn't feel like Ellie's unraveling. It just feels like she's kinda pissed, and it's absolutely not the same thing. Let me go back to it. Ellie decides she's going after Abby. She steals the boat, and in the game, this is when things feel like they're crashing. You've been spiraling all game, but here, the spiral turns into a free fall. The scars show up. Now in the game, here the encounter with them is brutal. It's long, violent. You're crawling through blood and fire and chaos. It's one of the most intense parts of the whole Seattle section. In the show, bro, I don't understand why they even added it. They should have just skipped it. But she crashes her boat, gets captured, she nearly gets hanged, and then bosh, they're bomb. They're gone. A raid starts and the Seraphites just dip. That's it. That's the whole sequence. It's like 2 minutes. There's no build up, there's no wait. It didn't even need to be there. And that's the problem. They're not using these moments to say anything. They're just copying and pasting from the game because it was in the game. But it doesn't work unless you actually earn it. The stuff that actually worked in the series, the stuff that they added, like Bill and Frank in season 1, that hit. The Hive, that hit. Like episode 6, that hit. The Fedra truck ambush, that also hit. Those were moments where they took the world and did something new with it. Something that made it still feel alive. But these forced copy and paste scenes like the Seraphites ambush, it just feels so hollow. They're not pushing the theme, they're not building Eddie's character. It's just like, remember this part from the game? And yeah, that shit is not good enough. So, we finally find Abby's location. She gets to the aquarium. She thinks she's ending this. She thinks she's finally killing Abby. Like it's gonna fix something inside her. But she doesn't find Abby. She finds Owen and Mel. Now, before I talk about the series, let me talk about the game first and how this scene was represented in the game. This is the most unbearable part in the game. Not because of violence, but because what it does to Eddie and to you. Mel jumps in to protect Owen, and she doesn't even hesitate, and Ellie just reacts. Gunfire, screaming, blood, it's a mess. And she collapses. No words. You don't need any. Her body just folds in on itself. The game doesn't tell you she's having a panic attack, it just shows you. Her breath starts to shake, her hands won't stop, her eyes wide but empty. You've seen Ellie angry, you've seen Ellie scared, but this is pure shock. Real, raw, unbearable. If you ever had a panic attack, you know what this moment is. You know how it hijacks your whole body. This isn't Ellie being a badass. This isn't her standing over a body with a clever line. This is her crumbling. This is when everything stops about getting revenge and starts being everything that's already been taken from her. And in the game, you feel that. In the silence, in the camera not cutting away, in the fact for the first time, she looks like she doesn't even know who she is anymore. You're not just watching it, you're sitting in it, you're holding the controller, and you can't do anything but just feel as powerless as she is. That's storytelling. That's why the game is different.
Whoa. Hey. It's all right. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
I know I sound very contradicting of myself, considering that at the beginning of this part of the video, I was like, oh, it felt short in the series and stuff. Just to elaborate real quick, what felt short was the main confrontation between her and Jesse, whether they wanted to go find Abby or help Tommy, and also that whole weird part with, like, when you see a bunch of wolves jump the scars and, like, Ellie wanted to help. Like, that was all pointless stuff that shouldn't have been added to the series. But this part of the series did it really well. So let's see how they took a different approach. Because after the confrontation, Mel was fatally wounded. She reveals her pregnancy to Ellie and pleads for her to help delivering the baby through C-section. Ellie in this situation is paralyzed, unable to act, and Mel dies in front of her. When Tommy and Jesse arrive, they find Ellie crying over Mel's body. The betrayal adds a layer of immediacy and desperation to the scene. However, some critics argue that it lacks the prolonged emotional impact of the game, and I slightly agree, but I also really like this different approach to it, where they literally put Ellie hands-on with Mel's pregnancy, and you see how she reacts to it. I did enjoy that, but again, very common thing about the series is that everything just seems to be cut short. Both versions aim to showcase the devastating consequences of Ellie's quest for vengeance and revenge. The game does this by immersing the player in Ellie's guilt and horror, making you live through her trauma. The show, while powerful, delivers a more condensed version of this emotional journey. If you've only watched the series, you're getting a glimpse of Ellie's turmoil. But to truly understand the depth of her descent, experiencing the game for me is essential. It doesn't just show you the cost of revenge, it makes you feel it. Now, I know there's more in the game and the episode, the ending, Jesse, Tommy, all of that, and honestly, there's not much to say. They handled those pretty similarly. Jesse's death was sudden in both. I've got no complaints there. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't a problem to me, so I don't want to like waste everyone's time by delving into like the last few seconds of the series. But I think they did it pretty well, and I kind of want to jump into the conclusion now.
Do you really think?
Which way? Which way?
Love transfers. Transfers.
What? I don't know what that means.
Love transfers. Love transfers.
What? Tell me what that means.
You're doing good. You're doing really good.
Is it out? Is it out?
Ellie! Oh, God. Hey. Let's go, come on. It's okay, it's okay. Come on. Come on.
It's better.
Shit.
Jesse, stand up. Hands in the air. I shoot this one too.
Don't you do it, Ellie. Get out of here.
The conclusion. If the only way you've experienced The Last of Us is through the show, then I'm sorry. But you have not experienced it. Not really. The show might give you the events, the big moments, some great performances here and there, but the feeling, the weight, the choices, the grief that sits on your chest just doesn't let up. That's only in the game. And I don't care if you've never picked up a controller in your life. Get the game, put the game on the easiest difficulty. I don't care. Just play it. Play both parts. Because watching it is one thing, but living it, it's something entirely different. You're not just seeing what Joel or Ellie go through, you're inside of it. You walk through the aftermath. You sit in the silence with blood in your hands. You don't move until the game lets you. And even then, you carry it. The story was never meant to be passive. It's not something you just sit back and absorb. You're supposed to feel stuck, uncomfortable, guilty, conflicted, angry, and that's the beauty of it. That's what makes it different from every other post-apocalyptic game. Whatever that else is out there, it is not about the end of the world. It's about the end of you. And yeah, very dramatic, but I say this because the game means a lot to me. It changed how I see stories. It changed how I look at grief, loyalty, and love. It made me question what I would do for the people I care about. It made me feel hate and guilt and pain, and then it made me keep going. It's not just a game. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever sat through. And I've played it more than once, because no matter how bad it hurts, I always want to come back. The show, it's not trash, it's just not enough. It cuts too soon, it softens the blows, It skips past the weight. It makes Ellie's darkness more palatable, more disguisable, more safe. And that's not who she is. That's not who any of them are. The game doesn't let you escape. It holds you there. It makes you feel every second of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's something a little bit different, but I just finished watching the show and I want to do a quick comparison. If there's part of this video that felt slightly rushed, like the last part, I am sorry about that. It's just I genuinely didn't feel that I could add anything to it. I want to do more videos like this. I want to talk about more the psychology behind the characters in my next videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. All that YouTube cliche shit, like, subscribe, comment, all of that shit. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace.